Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. We got 11 wins in a row. 50% of the time we're playing as the Keeper. 50% of the time we're playing as the Lost. Now and then we play as Judas. It's the first run in a couple of days. It's a very scary time to be Judas. P6BFGSWX. I also have a cat on my lap right now. It's a scary time. It's a scary time. One single shot and things could go wrong. I know, by the way, you're probably like, there's no sound effects. I have just realized this myself. It is highly cursed. Guess what happened? I set a Windows update to take place in November. Windows update had other plans, apparently. So we're going to roll an incredibly cursed episode of Isaac where there will be no sound effects in the background, which is weird. It's very strange, I'm sure, but we will get used to it. Okay? We're going to figure it out. For now, though, Ruka, if you may please just go this way. Thank you. I really appreciate it. How did I fix this problem last time? Oh, it's very simple. I rolled back the Windows update, deleted all the updates in the folder, and then set a Windows update for November so that I could delay the inevitable as long as possible, because Windows doesn't give you a way to say, hey, Windows, I'm the master of my own domain. I paid for the software. I want to be able to use the software as I'm able to use the software. Instead, it says, listen, we know you don't really know what's going on under the hood here, so we're just going to make it impossible for you to tailor your own experience. I know this sounds like I'm about to become a convert to Linux. This is not the case. You know, that seems like that's too much work for me, to be honest. It is freaking me out that there's no... It's this. I had the exact same issue the last time this Windows update came out. Now I'm just hoping there's audio at all. Otherwise, you'll be a little confused. You know what I mean? But the fact that I know you're probably like, well, you just have sound effects turned down. Oh, really? Oh, whoa, whoa. You can sort of hear them. I'm not. It's there. That's normally where I have them right there. It's honestly just an audio like driver issue. I have no idea what causes it, except to say that the Windows. I mean, we're gonna get a little ranty here. I'm sure we'll get over it eventually. It's like a new pair of underwear, you know. First it feels strict or constricting, but eventually it just becomes a part of you. But you know. Windows, you know, they pushed, or Microsoft, I should say, pushed this update in like June or July, and then a lot of people complained, so they acknowledged it and they said, hey, there's a lot of problems. We're gonna iron them out, and you know, here we are, essentially in November, and I guess the iron's broken, but anyway, life goes on. I'm having a good day here in spite of this issue right now. It's a Sunday. Yesterday was a Saturday. Had a very eventful Saturday. Woke up early. Won't believe what I saw. 100 million bottles washed up on the shore. Odd mushroom. Without the sound, it's still it feels very foreign right now. It's like my brain is broken, but we'll get used to it eventually. Hey, maybe we'll even prefer it after a while. What was I going to say? Oh, my Saturday. Woke up pretty early. You know, we had some furniture left to assemble. I'm proud to say I assembled single-handedly my Bacant combination sit-stand desk in the new place. I'll save you some keystrokes. I'm not interested in getting into an online argument about the values of sitting versus standing. Here's an argument for you. Sometimes I like to sit, and sometimes I like to stand. I feel like all these arguments, it's the same as like whenever people get bent out of shape about, you know, hydration. People are like, well, you don't actually, I've read many studies that say You should only hydrate when or you only need to hydrate when you feel thirsty and yada yada. That's all fine. But I feel like there's a presupposition in that line of reasoning. And that's, you know, you think that people who drink 8 glasses of water a day think that they're better than people who don't. And that's not what's happening here. Oh, well, that was a sound effect that worked. I got a combination sit-stand desk, not because I enjoy talking people's ear off about how, oh, sitting is the new smoking, but rather because sometimes I like to sit and sometimes I like to stand. Same reason I drink a lot of water. Sometimes I never go like, hey, make sure you drink 10 glasses of water today. But sometimes people are like, man, I feel like my skin's really dry. I feel like nauseous and weird. I don't feel like myself. And I'm like, you know, hey, have you tried drinking a glass of water today? And they go, oh, Aquafina pays you to be on the water lobbying board, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure this is a relatable thing. But you know, whenever I go to a place there's limited seating, even if there's not limited seating, I stand, and then people, they get really aggressive about it. They go, hey, sit down. And you're like, no, I like standing. And they're like, I mean, there's a chair right here, you could just sit down. You're like, no, you know, honestly, it feels good to stand. I've been sitting all day. And they go, whoa, okay. You know, it's so long, we're gonna be here a while, you might as well take a seat. Like, they're always trying to convince you. I don't know, like they feel bad that they're sitting and you're standing. There's nothing wrong with making other people comfortable, you know. Sometimes you just stop being a weirdo and just, you know, take a seat, dummy. But like, you know, in some situations, I'm like, I just want to stand up. I like standing. It's not hard work, you know. I enjoy it. Mostly because I mean, let me put it this way. I've had days where I've, you know, I've been on my feet all day. That first little lounge into the couch you get at the end of the day is a beautiful feeling. You know, you're like, oh, I don't want to stand up again. I've had that level of fatigue, so I get that. But for me, I spend all day sitting in like an ergonomic chair specifically molded to my own butt cheeks. I can get down with standing on some uneven terrain just a little. I don't think that standing up is exercise. I just, you know, it doesn't make me better than anybody else. I'm just throwing that out there. So I'm doing a new thing. It's called no sound effects equals no hits. I will never get hit as long as we have no sound in the game. And that is a promise to you that I hope not to go back on immediately on this room. And we will fix this problem by the next video, even though it'll probably be a pain in the butt to have it happen. It is what it is. Don't hit me, I made a promise! Okay, well, it was fun while it lasted. But yeah, you know, I put together my Bacant. I also put together the Gigantisk garbage can, which is, you know, really just a 6-piece sort of extravaganza. It's not really that big of a deal, but we could buy blank card. I don't know. Book of Belial is fine, but blank card with the current stats is probably a little bit better. Once we got that done, we had some furniture deliveries come through. You know, we now have a couch. We now have a bed with a mattress on it in our new place. It's very exciting. We're like just a couple of things shy of being able to actually move in. One of those is very important. It's a working refrigerator. Our refrigerator, you know, it was covered in our new place, but does not work. So we got to get some, you know, repair done there. And then apart from that, the internet. But we haven't got the internet set up yet because I don't want to pay for internet in 2 places. Suffice it to say, you know, my office is looking nice. You know, if you watch videos where I use my webcam, you're going to be stunned by the new office. The wall is more than... Come on. The wall is more than 5 feet behind me. In the current domicile, the current place, the wall is literally like 2 to 3 feet behind me. I can barely move my chair backwards to get out of the seat, which is why I end up doing this weird booty scootin' boogie every time I get up. But the new place is like it's designed for human beings to operate in. It's not a converted closet, which is pretty exciting. So I'm looking forward to getting that on the screen. It's a weird number. You don't normally see a 90% deal with the devil chance. It's a little unusual. Anyway, get me out of here. So yeah, it's good. I still gotta get some acoustic foam and stuff, because, I mean, it's very echoey right now, but it'll all come to pass. I will test it, and I will hit it with one of those and one of these, and, yeah, why not? We could use this, actually. This has been one of the most active Curse of the Just Inconvenience use that I've ever had in my entire life, I think. And then, you know, later that night, once we had all the furniture that was delivered, Kate and I went to see the film Parasite. I want to be clear, not the anime Parasite. I got nothing against the anime Parasite, but people keep going, hey, was it the Korean movie or was it the anime? And I'm like, you know that it's the Korean movie. Why are you being weird about it? Why are you trying to get me to acknowledge that it was the Korean movie instead of the anime? I'm not trying to disrespect the anime by saying I watched a movie that has the same name as an anime, but you know as well as I know that the anime is spelled with a Y instead of an I. It's just, it makes you look like you got a weird chip on your shoulder about the anime. Regardless, great, actually, like, unbelievably good movie. Easily one of the best movies I've seen this year. Highly recommended. And I gotta say, like, you know, I know when I tweeted about it, people were like, well, if it's so good, they should play it in more theaters. I agree 100%. You know, like, we were talking about it on streams. We were like, the only places playing in Canada for a while was in Toronto. So it was hard to, you know, I was in the same boat as y'all. But then when we saw it last night in Vancouver, the theater was packed. Like, I've never seen this theater packed. It mostly plays like Disney movies, like 3 months after they originally come out. It's like one of those sorts of theaters. They had both Parasite and The Lighthouse. And I have never seen so many master's degree holding, bespectacled West Coast intellectuals in this theater at a single time. I'm there all the time. I don't hold a master's degree. So I'm immune from my own criticism, which is actually a compliment. Hold on, we should definitely go peep our shop again. But if you are wondering, should I go, is that movie really as good as the hype? Yeah, no, is stellar. That was a great get for us right there. It's a stellar film, highly recommended. All I'll say is I understand why they don't have that many showings, you know, in Canada, because I don't remember the last time I've actually seen a Korean language film make it to widespread release in Canada. But you should see it if you get the chance. It's highly great. It's got a little scary here, but I think we're gonna make it. And we had dinner and came home. That's about it. That was my Saturday. Be careful. I gotta tell you, I'm very much enjoying the process of building IKEA furniture. I know it's not like real carpentry. Why did I check the other card? You know, it's not... I don't mean to diminish my own efforts. It is building something. I mean, it's assembling, at the very least. But even, you gotta know, and I've said this a few times over the course of the past couple of weeks, I previously was unable to really reliably even assemble IKEA furniture. To assemble it was an accomplishment in and of itself. The fact that I am now, with no supervision, assembling, you know, these pieces of furniture, it's a big step up for me, and that's why I'm so stoked. Please don't be Krampus. No Krampus, please. I mean, out of these, we're taking Brimstone. Whoa, I almost walked on the spikes. I'm not used to my speed being so high thanks to experimental treatment. Oh, okay, it hit a piece of HP we didn't need anyway. All right, take me down. Why take Brimstone? Because actually, in spite of everything else, I'm a little concerned that we may actually die here. Plus, the faster I finish the run, the faster I can troubleshoot this sound effects issue. Get myself sorted out. I don't know. When I used to see, like, people complaining about stuff like this online, I was always like, you know, I always thought about them as, like, they're these 50-something, like, you know, software developers who are like, I want to have access to the kernel so I can, I want to be able to rewrite my own OS. But that's not really, first off, that's not really fair to them. And my apologies for originally thinking that way. But secondly, I'm like, it was really like your update is broken and I would rather not be forced to push it every time I restart my computer. I know you're like, you can disable the service. I did disable the service. No, there's another one you got to disable. No, I disabled that one. Well, you got to use the command. No, I'm very familiar with the command prompt. I have indeed disabled the services. I'll admit, I stopped short of editing the registry. Just because I have the appropriate level of confidence in my technical skill. And in that case, specifically in this situation, that means I don't feel comfortable editing the registry. I popped that. Oh, I thought I popped it a little too early. But like, you know what I see it as? Honestly, like, I'm not really in the market for a Tesla, to be honest. You know, our car, though bad, works fine. When I say bad, I mean, I don't mean that the car is non-functional, okay? I mean that compared to just about every other car at its price point in its class, it's markedly worse. But it is still a functional car. It drives. It doesn't explode. But, you know, you pay a lot of money for something. And then the company that produces it, it turns out they have a class action lawsuit because they willingly sold a faulty product for about half of a decade without acknowledging it due to the amount of money they would have to spend on recalls. I think you can rightfully be annoyed. But, like, you know, maybe in the future, certainly like an electric car, or at the very least a hybrid, you know, is on the list. But one of the things that makes me second guess the idea of a Tesla is the idea that it gets compulsory firmware upgrades that you don't have control over whether or not they're actually implemented. I know this sounds a little tinfoil hat, and I'm not a tinfoil hat guy. Like, at all, basically. But, oh, hello. It's so loud now. I don't want to be part of the live testing ground for new Tesla firmware. You know, I want to have the option to not push your update, because, I mean, again, I'm not suggesting like, well, they're not going to test it and my car is going to, you know, blow up on the highway. I'm not saying that, but even like the idea that your car might drive differently day to day, even on a subtle level, is kind of annoying to me. I get that by updating the software. Well, yeah, I'll tell you, by the way, I don't know the difference between software and firmware. Isn't firmware just software that is essential to the functioning of the device? You would think this would have been covered in one of my classes, but it's not the case. I thought firmware was like it's something to do with embedded systems. I don't know. Oh, speaking of which, Epic Game Store. Thanks for those pop-ups. Creator code BearTaffy, by the way. No, that's spyware. You got. Oh, he said it. Anyway, no, I did buy the Outer Worlds there. NL, why'd you buy the Outer Worlds on the Epic Game Store when you could have gotten it on Game Pass for $1? Well, because you know, I'm monetizing my enjoyment of the game, so it only seemed fair for me to pay full price to the developers. Admittedly, I didn't do my research to figure out if, you know, Microsoft via Game Pass would have paid Obsidian the full price to begin with if I'd gotten it via Game Pass. My expectation is they got paid something up front for that, and then, you know, they don't get paid per download, but I don't know. I don't know anything about the business. And that's just being honest. Hold on. We've been to all the special rooms, and we're on Dank Depths 2 already. Okay. So, I'm going to level with you. Guppy's Head is better than Blank Card Death, but Blank Card Death has the potential to become Blank Card something even better. So we're gonna stick with that for now. I support a healthy game development ecosystem, which for me means, you know, if I'm gonna be... by the way, not every content creator has this luxury, you know? We're doing decent numbers. to pay $60 to support a developer. It's actually $80 Canadian, not that I'm bragging or anything. It's the least I could do to support good game development. Get me out. Plus, I got to use creator code BearTaffy. So Bear, I don't know, was it like a 5% kickback? Was 5% of $90? That's like $4.50. So you give about 2 of that to the IRS. You got $2.50. Then you got like a 10% sales tax. So if you come, so it's not, you got about 14 cents via my purchase that you can spend as you see fit. Bear, congratulations, best of luck to you. Thank you for letting me out of this cursed room. Is this a second or a first secret room? This is a. Come on. Really? That's a second secret room? I didn't want to do this room. I don't like the buttons. Let me go, please. What was I saying? I forgot. Oh yeah, I was being anal about software again. It's not that I inherently distrust, the Tesla Corporation any more than any other corporation on Earth. And you might say it's like a little hypocritical. Yes, I allow, firmware up. Well, actually, that's not even really that true. I don't really allow updates to the firmware on my phone. Whenever my phone is like, hey, you need to do a critical new update, I read through the notes. And if it's like, we improved the Samsung Health app, I'm like, turns out I don't need to do an update to my device. If it's like, we fixed a critical security flaw, I'm like, you know what? You're absolutely right. I will do it. Especially if it doesn't ruin my audio setup. That's integral to my ability to do my job. But at least they give me a delay forever button. I mean, I have this bad habit, I'll admit. I've delayed updates on my phone for like years. And all my phone does is yell at me. So the babysitting from Windows is highly annoying. I'm not re-rolling my whole run. Because I'm a coward and I'm rattled that my audio's messed up. Okay? I didn't notice it until the video started. I'm more attached to the streak than I am to the sound effects, so I didn't want to just bail on the run, alright? Is that a problem? I'm laying my insecurities bare to you right now? I can't believe we got another death card. I can't believe I walked into Triacnin. Anyway, go see Parasite. It's real good. I do want to see The Lighthouse as well. I don't know if I will in theaters, but it's on the list. But Parasite was extremely good. I also want to say, I'm not really complaining, but I think I may have hit a new world record. Didn't even know you were coming, to be honest. I may have hit a new world record for the number of times I've seen a trailer in advance of a movie's release. Every single movie I see from, or every single movie I've seen for months. That's the good stuff right there. Just wait for that to dissipate. From Aladdin to Parasite has had Knives Out, the Rian Johnson whodunit. The trailer has run before the movie. It's, hold on. You know this room layout. You know the hands are coming for you. There we go. I'm not salty about it because I think the movie looks very good. However, I'm definitely at the point where I'm like, you are wasting your marketing spend on me specifically. I know there's no way to change the targeting on that. It doesn't really work on that fine-grained level, but every penny that you spend getting me to see the trailer for this movie is now a wasted budget spend on your part. If I'm here to tell you, if you ever encounter somebody that's like, oh, I've never heard of this Knives Out movie, that person is immune to marketing. They don't put themselves in a position where they view advertising, which is in many ways, I would hesitate to describe it as noble because advertising is kind of like, integral to my ability to survive on this planet. But, either way, that person, you can't take their opinion on popular stuff seriously. You can take their opinion on niche stuff very seriously. I just wouldn't take their opinion on television seriously because, you know, notice I said television and not TV. That's because TV's a nickname and nicknames are for friends and television is no friend of mine. Help! Okay, we're going to suck that up. Luck and range. We'll be moving on here. I still do want to see Knives Out. And I know everybody remembers Rian Johnson from The Last Jedi. My opinion on The Last Jedi is irrelevant. And I say that because I think that it is highly relevant. But I just can't get into another Star Wars argument on the internet. Like, I'm so tired. Like, even this weekend on Twitter, there was... Rogue One was trending because a writer at a blog... that's not meant to be insulting. It's just this is how, you know, these flashpoint trending topics start. It's just one person's opinion. They released their own power rankings on a personal level of how they felt about the Star Wars movies, and people were mad that they had Rogue One too low in the power rankings. So it trended on Twitter. You know, like hundreds of thousands of retweets, leading to subtweets, leading to jokes about leading to the shut up and just let people enjoy things, leading to the, well, couldn't you also say shut up and let people not enjoy things, leading to the debates about, you know, what is the merit of criticism in an online ecosystem in 2019, and it's you know, there's like 12 movies about space swords. Just relax. I don't mind the arguments. Can we just restrict them to, like, when the main series movies come out? Like, you know, when the Last Skywalker comes out, or The Rise of Skywalker, whatever the heck it's called. Then do your arguments, okay? I also recognize that just like advertising being integral to my existence, so are petty arguments over pop culture media. And I took issue with the writer's list as well. Specifically because I think that the idea that Attack of the Clones is worse than The Phantom Menace is the opinion that people have when they have not seen The Phantom Menace recently. Attack of the Clones also terrible, but The Phantom Menace is a true disaster. Specifically meant for, like 5-year-old kids to enjoy. Which is fine. You know, I think there is an argument to be made that, like, you know, if The Phantom Menace is enjoyable by children, that might be better than Attack of the Clones being enjoyed by almost nobody. But at the same time, as an adult, I would rather watch Attack of the Clones again. But I would rather watch neither and just watch Parasite again instead. Okay, these are 3 very good items. And honestly, getting the luck upgrade is not that bad. So the real issue here is merely HP related. Monstro's Lung Brim still got good charges, or good charging time, I should say. Serpent's Kiss gives you the chance of the Demon Hearts. Egghead is HP. And you know what? I think we actually will just take Acid Baby. I expect to get many, many drops. And Contract from Below will help out with that as well, obviously. And Egghead just negates some damage. Not being able to hear the charges on this is actually maybe not a big deal, but I will admit it's a bigger deal than I expected. There are sound cues that help you determine when an enemy's going to attack. Both of these are pretty good, but I'm just going to suck them up. The Snot Tears do nothing for us, and Purity is actually, like, extremely great. But I thought maybe instead of having a variable stat bonus, we'll just take one guaranteed stat. And, you know, one of them ended up being damaged, so feel okay about that. Look, Pod Play is up there, for sure. That's brain dead. Purity Play is probably bad, but it's not quite at the same level. I'm just heading it off at the pass. So, Algiz means we win. Essentially. I just, Anyway, I was talking about Knives Out. For all of my lack of patience about, Star Wars arguments, I will say, I liked The Last Jedi. And I at least, when you compare The Last Jedi to The Force Awakens, my personal 2 cents is that even if you think The Last Jedi did not succeed, at least it tried something new. And, if I'm willing to say, hey, I didn't like the Joker, but it really swung for the fences, I think you can meet me halfway on The Last Jedi. It at least tried to buck the Star Wars formula, which is, more than Episode 7 did. Although I still think Episode 7 is pretty good. I mean, I'm an easy critic, is what you're learning right here. Which, ends up annoying everybody, but I can live with that. It's kind of my brand. But I will not stand for any dismissiveness of Rian Johnson as a filmmaker just because you don't like his Star Wars movie, okay? Just because Laura Dern had purple hair in The Last Jedi, that doesn't mean that, you can take away from the punchiness of 2005's teenage film noir Brick, starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Lucas Haas. Can't take away from the sci-fi time travel inventiveness of Looper. The only thing I've heard about Looper that is, bad, and I've seen the movie 2 or 3 times myself, is people telling me, well, if you really want a good movie about time travel, you should just watch Primer. Primer is also a great movie. One of the great independent films of all time. Yet simultaneously, you can watch more than one movie. This isn't a Highlander situation. Just remember, if you're going to quote Highlander, there can be only one. They made 5 freaking Highlanders. They didn't even take their own advice. Plus a TV series. And Highlander 2 also had Sean Connery as a Spanish conquistador with a Scottish accent. So just remember that, okay? Before you do your pithy quotes. Anyway, hey, I'm gonna go fix my sound issues. For now, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. It's a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya!